The first sound I notice isn't the car engine outside, nor the chatter of the building lobby. It's the silence. Dead silence, heavy and accusing. My heels click on the cold, polished tiles as I make my way to the elevator, each step echoing like a drumbeat marking another year of being invisible. I glance down at my phone. Nothing. No messages. No birthday wishes. Not even from my mom. I'm Isabella Hart, 29 years old, senior marketing strategist, and today is my birthday. But if you think birthdays are about cakes, gifts, or hugs, you've clearly never been me. For as long as I can remember, my family has celebrated my younger brother, Lucas, lavish parties, surprise gifts, and an audience that claps louder for him than for anyone else. Me? Forgotten. Every single year. The elevator dings softly, and I step inside, brushing a strand of hair behind my ear. I stare at my reflection, hazel eyes tired from overachieving, a smile that barely reaches the corners of my mouth, a career that should make anyone proud. But here I am, feeling like a shadow in my own family. The lobby is empty, the kind of emptiness that presses against your chest and makes every small disappointment feel enormous. I tell myself it's fine. Birthdays are for children anyway. But then, when I unlock my apartment door, my eyes land on the small chocolate cake I bought myself that morning. A single candle, waiting, lonely, mocking me. I set my leather bag down with more force than necessary and sink onto the sofa. The apartment smells faintly of lavender from the diffuser I turned on hours ago, but even that comfort feels hollow. I stare at the cake and whisper, "Happy birthday" to me. I know what you're thinking. Why not call someone? Text my mom? Lucas? But I don't, because the truth is, nothing has changed in 29 years. My mom will remember my birthday eventually, maybe in passing, but she'll make sure Lucas gets the party. And me? I'll get a polite nod, a card shoved in my hands, or worse, nothing at all. A part of me wants to cry. Another part wants to scream. But the part one cherished most, the part that refuses to be ignored, starts scheming. This year, things will be different. I've spent my whole life overlooked, underestimated, erased, but I've also learned patience, observation, strategy. And tonight, my revenge begins, not with anger, but with precision. Hold on, before we get into the real stuff, I want to know, what are you doing at this exact moment while hearing my voice? I love seeing your answers down below in the comments. I glance around my apartment, my mind racing. Every birthday, my family celebrated Lucas. They made sure to make me feel invisible. The gifts I got were often hand-me-downs, the attention minimal, the hugs obligatory. But this time, I'm not asking for attention. I'm taking it, and I'm making sure they never forget me again. Not in the way I once wanted, but in a way that will leave a mark. The first step in my plan is subtle. I start small, planting little hints in places they'd least expect. A carefully timed social media post. A mysterious invitation sent to the wrong person, or was it? A whisper of something that will make them curious, anxious even. The thrill of knowing my mother will wonder, what is Isabella up to this year? It makes my chest tighten with anticipation. And just when I think I've got them where I want, the phone buzzes. Not a message from Mom. Not a text from Lucas. Something else. Something unexpected. A clue. Something that could unravel everything if I don't act fast. I pick up the phone, staring at the screen, heart pounding. My fingers hover. A decision. A move. A moment that will define how this night, my birthday, will end. Because tonight, for the first time in 29 years, I'm not waiting to be seen. Tonight, I'm making sure they cannot ignore me. And the first step in my revenge begins now. The clue on my phone is a message, but it's not from anyone I expected. No happy birthday wishes. No emojis, no love, no guilt. Just a simple text that reads, "Check the mailbox before dinner." My heart skips. My mailbox? Why now? And who really sent this? I pace across the apartment, heels now abandoned on the floor, and run my fingers through my hair. This isn't the kind of thing my mother would do. Or Lucas. My mind races, considering every possibility. but curiosity gnaws at me, sharper than hunger, and I can't ignore it. I grab my coat and step outside, the winter air cold against my skin. Streetlights reflect off the slick pavement, giving the city a dreamy, dangerous glow. The building lobby is empty, the usual hum of activity replaced by a silence that feels almost conspiratorial. I reach the mailbox, my fingers trembling as I lift the flap. Inside is a single envelope, no return address, no handwriting I recognize. I pull it out and freeze. The paper is thick, expensive, embossed with golden lettering. I turn it over. Inside, nothing but a card. A birthday card. A single, handwritten line reads, "Tonight, they'll see you, but not how you think." The words are chilling, yet exhilarating. My pulse accelerates. Who is this? Is it someone trying to help me? Or someone who wants to toy with me? Either way, the first thread of tension has been pulled, and I'm already hooked. I pocket the card and start walking back to my apartment. My mind is spinning with possibilities, the way a chess player plans 5 moves ahead, each one dependent on the reaction of the other. If this is the start of my revenge, I know I need to proceed carefully. Every step must be precise, every action deliberate. Back in my apartment, I sit at the edge of my sofa, staring at the cake. That lonely, mocking little cake. I feel a surge of determination I haven't felt in years. The desire to be invisible has been replaced by the hunger to be unforgettable. Not for attention, not for sympathy, but to make them truly understand what it feels like to erase someone every year and then act surprised when that person finally fights back. I begin making a plan. First, I have to get them to notice me, not as the quiet, overlooked daughter or sister, but as someone who commands attention. But not just any attention. I want curiosity. I want unease. I want the satisfaction of knowing my mother will feel it in her chest, the same way I've felt every birthday for nearly 3 decades. The first step is subtle. I post a picture on my private social media, carefully chosen. Nothing obvious. Just me, smiling in the city at night, a candle flickering nearby. No caption, no hashtags, just the image. Within minutes, I can feel it working. My brother notices. My mother notices. Small likes, a comment here, a quiet gasp there. Then I move to the second step. I send a casual text to a family friend, someone I know loves Lucas's parties and is usually a messenger of my mother's social enthusiasm. The text is cryptic. "You won't believe what's happening tonight. Make sure they're there." I watch the effect unfold. Within moments, subtle anxiety begins to ripple through the family's usual routines. My mother calls, hesitantly, her voice soft and tinged with worry. "Isabella, is everything okay?" I smile at the phone, even though she can't see me. "Perfect. Just make sure you're home for dinner." Dinner. That's where the final act begins. That's where my plan, patiently built over months of subtle maneuvering, will come to fruition. Every glance, every word, every unspoken expectation will work in my favor. I can practically see the wheels turning in their heads, their curiosity growing, their nerves fraying. Hours pass. I go through my usual evening routine, but my mind is elsewhere. Every ding of my phone, every soft creak of the apartment building floor above me, every distant sound of laughter or conversation in neighboring apartments makes my heart jump. I am waiting. I am anticipating. I am ready. Then finally I hear it. The first sound of footsteps approaching my door. Not mine, not casual, but purposeful. I don't open it. I wait. A moment passes, then a knock. Soft, polite, but urgent. I walk to the door and peek through the peephole. And there he is, Lucas, my little brother, all smiles and oblivious charm. He has no idea that tonight will be different, that the quiet, overlooked sister he's always taken for granted is about to rewrite the rules. I open the door just enough to let him in, my mind racing. The game begins now, I think. And I know, without a doubt, that once it starts, there will be no turning back. The first step in my revenge has been set. And the tension, it's palpable, like electricity in the air. They don't know it yet, but by the end of this night, My family will remember me. Not the way they've remembered Lucas. Not the way birthdays have always passed unnoticed, but in a way they'll never forget. And in that moment, as Lucas steps inside, smiling and unaware, I realize that the hardest, most satisfying part is still ahead. I have them exactly where I want them. But will they recognize the storm about to hit? Or will it hit too late? Lucas walks into my apartment like he owns the place. Same confident stride. Same careless grin. The kind of grin you get when the world has always made room for you. Hey, he says casually, glancing around. Mom said you wanted everyone together tonight. What's going on? There it is. Mom said. Not Isabella's birthday. Not we forgot. Just curiosity. Mild concern. Like I'd called a meeting for a group project, not my existence. I smile. Slow. Controlled. You'll see, I say, closing the door behind him. His eyes flick to the cake on the table. The single candle. Unlit. For a split second, something like recognition flashes across his face. Then it disappears. Oh, right. That's today, isn't it? There it is. The annual realization. I nod. Every year, actually. An awkward pause fills the room. He clears his throat, shoving his hands into his pockets. Yeah, well. You know how Mom gets. She's been busy planning my thing this weekend. Your thing. I feel the familiar sting, but this time, it doesn't sink in. This time, it fuels me. Sit, I say, gesturing to the sofa. My tone isn't harsh. It's calm. Too calm. He hesitates but obeys. I pour 2 glasses of wine, my hand steady. That's the thing about being overlooked your entire life. You learn control. You learn patience. You learn how to wait until the moment matters. We sit. Silence stretches. Lucas shifts uncomfortably. He hates silence. He hates being unsure of his role. So, he says finally, are Mom and Dad coming? Oh, they'll be here. I reply. They wouldn't miss this. His brow furrows. Miss what? I take a sip of wine, letting the moment breathe. The truth. Before he can ask anything else, there's another knock at the door. This one firmer. Familiar. My pulse spikes, not with fear, but anticipation. I open the door to find my mother standing there, perfectly styled as always. Hair done. Coat immaculate. Concern painted carefully across her face. Behind her, my father checks his watch, already impatient. Isabella, my mom says, forcing a smile. You sounded strange on the phone. I step aside. Come in. Her eyes land on the cake, the candle, the wine glasses, the tension in the air. Her smile falters. Oh, she says softly. Is this about today? Lucas looks between us. You didn't tell me it was serious, he mutters. I close the door. Lock it. The click echoes louder than it should. Sit, I say again. They exchange glances, but comply. The living room feels smaller now. Heavy, like the walls are listening. I don't raise my voice. I don't accuse. I don't cry. That's what they expect. Instead, I pull out my phone and place it face up on the coffee table. I want to show you something, I say. I tap the screen. A photo appears. Then another. Then another. A timeline. My birthdays year by year. Age 9. Lucas's superhero party, balloons, cake, clapping adults. My birthday, same week, nothing. Age 13. Lucas's surprise trip. Mine, forgotten again. Age 18. His new car reveal. My birthday dinner canceled because we'll do it later. Age 25. His promotion celebration. My birthday text sent 3 days late. Each image lands like a quiet punch. My mother's face drains of color. Isabella. I hold up a hand. I'm not done. I swipe again. Screenshots of group chats. Invitations. Photos tagged and celebrated. Every single one centered on Lucas. I kept track, I say. Not because I wanted to, but because when you're erased enough times, you start documenting your own existence. My father shifts uncomfortably. We never meant. I know. I interrupt. That's the worst part. Lucas stares at the screen, his jaw tightening. You're making this a bigger deal than it is. I look at him. Really look at him. That's what you've always been allowed to believe. Silence crashes down. Thick. Unavoidable. Then I stand. My heart is pounding, but my voice remains steady. Tonight isn't about guilt or apologies. It's about awareness. My mother swallows hard. What are you planning? I smile. Not cruel. Not kind. Certain. You'll see, I say again. My phone buzzes on the table. All of us look down. A notification pops up. A public post. Tagged. Shared. Already gaining traction. Lucas's eyes widen. What did you do? I meet my mother's gaze. I told the truth. And I made sure it would be heard. Her breath catches. Isabella, wait. But it's too late. The first wave has already hit. And the second will change everything. Because this time, my birthday isn't being ignored. It's being witnessed. And what happens next will force my family to confront something they've avoided for years, whether they're ready or not. The moment the post goes live, the energy in the room shifts. It's subtle at first, a flicker in my mother's eyes, a tightening in my father's jaw, but it grows, a quiet storm building in the space between us. Lucas stumbles back, eyes glued to his phone, unable to tear them away. How did you? He stammers, voice trembling with confusion and anger. Isabella, this is insane. I don't respond immediately. Instead, I lean against the table, letting the silence press down on them. Every second I wait is deliberate, calculated. Every heartbeat reminds me that this is my moment. That for 29 years, I've been silent while my birthdays disappeared into the background of Lucas's celebrations. That ends tonight. Finally, I speak. Insane? You think sharing the truth about decades of being ignored is insane? My mother's hands tremble slightly as she folds them in her lap. Isabella, honey, we didn't mean for you to feel this way. I tilt my head, studying her face. The perfectly applied makeup, the carefully styled hair, the rehearsed empathy. It all feels hollow to me now. You didn't mean to hurt me, I repeat. But you did. Every year, every party, every gift, every single time I was erased while Lucas, well, you all celebrated him like the sun rose just to shine on him. Lucas looks down at the floor, shame creeping over his features. I didn't know it was this bad. I laugh softly, but it's not a warm sound. Of course you didn't. That's the point. You didn't notice because it was never about me. It was never meant to be about me. And that's why I had to make you notice. My father shifts in his chair, clearing his throat nervously. Isabella, maybe we should just calm down. I raise a hand. No. This isn't about calming down. This is about seeing what I've seen my whole life, feeling what I've felt, understanding, even for a moment, the quiet loneliness of being forgotten while everyone else gets applause, gifts, parties. My mother opens her mouth to speak again, but I cut her off. Tonight, you will see me, not as the quiet daughter who never asked for attention, not as the sister who could be forgotten every year. Tonight, you will see me as I am, someone who cannot be ignored anymore. I step closer to the cake, my fingers brushing over the single candle. The flicker of light catches in my eyes. This candle, I say softly, is the symbol of everything you missed. Every year it sat unlit, waiting for recognition that never came. Every year I sat at the sidelines while Lucas got everything. And every year I reminded myself, one day, the world would have to acknowledge me. Lucas swallows hard. Isabella, I didn't realize. I shake my head. No, you didn't realize. Because it was never meant for you to realize. And that's why tonight matters. Because for the first time in your lives, you won't be able to ignore me. My birthday, my truth, my pain, it's all out there now. I pick up the card from the mailbox, holding it in front of them. This was a hint, a message. Someone wanted you to pay attention, but you won't know who. And that uncertainty, that's part of the lesson. Because for 29 years, uncertainty has been my only companion on my birthday. Tonight, you feel a taste of it. Unease, curiosity, anxiety. That's my revenge. Subtle, precise, unforgettable. My mother's voice shakes. Isabella, you don't have to do this. You don't have to make it public. I cut her off again, calmly but firmly. It's already public. The post is live. The photos, the timeline, the evidence, it's all there. Friends, relatives, colleagues, they all see what I've endured while you celebrated Lucas. Lucas finally looks up, panic flashing in his eyes. Mom, Dad, she's serious. She's not joking. And I smile. Just a hint, a whisper of satisfaction. I've never been more serious in my life. This isn't about punishment. It's about acknowledgement. About finally being seen. And I promise, once this is over, you'll never forget my birthday again. Not like you forgot it all these years. Not like it never mattered. Because the weight of 29 years of being invisible, that's something you're going to feel tonight. The room is thick with tension. My mother fidgets with her scarf. My father's hands are tight in his lap. Lucas fumbles for words. They are floundering in the unfamiliar terrain of their daughter's power, my power. I set the car down and walk toward the window, gazing out at the city lights. I can almost hear the echo of their surprise, their guilt, their curiosity. And it feels intoxicating. A soft chime from my phone interrupts my thoughts. Another notification. Another clue. Another piece of the plan unfolding exactly as I designed it. I turn slowly, eyes locking with each of them. You have no idea what's coming next, I say. And that's exactly how it should be. Lucas swallows hard. I think I'm starting to get it. This isn't just about the birthday. I nod. No, Lucas. This is about every time you, Mom, and Dad made me feel invisible. Every time you made me small. Every time you told me, without saying a word, that I wasn't worth celebrating. This is my moment, and you're about to watch it unfold. The room falls silent again. The tension stretches until it's almost unbearable. But I don't break. I can feel their anticipation building just as mine is. Because tonight, when the final act arrives, my family won't just remember my birthday. They'll remember me. And whether they're ready for it or not, it's about to change everything. The reactions come faster than I expected. Faster than they expected. My phone vibrates again. And again. And again. The quiet room fills with the soft, relentless buzzing, like a heartbeat getting louder, harder to ignore. I don't even need to look to know what's happening. The truth, once released, doesn't whisper. It spreads. My mother reaches for her phone with shaking hands. Her eyes widen as she scrolls. Oh my God, she breathes. Your aunt commented. And people are asking questions. Good. Lucas stares at his screen, jaw clenched. My friends are messaging me, he says. They're confused. They're asking why they never knew. I finally pick up my phone. Notifications stack endlessly. Likes, comments, messages. Some supportive. Some shocked. Some painfully familiar. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. Each message hits differently. Not like validation, but like proof. Proof that I wasn't imagining it. That 29 years of neglect weren't exaggerated, weren't dramatic, weren't all in my head. My father finally speaks, voice low and strained. You didn't have to do it this way. I look at him calmly. Yes, I did. He exhales sharply. This could have been handled privately. I shake my head. Privately is how it was handled for years. Quietly, silently, conveniently, and nothing changed. My mother looks up at me, eyes glossy. People are saying things, Isabella. They're judging us. I tilt my head. Imagine how it feels to be judged every year by silence. Another buzz. A comment rises to the top of my screen. Someone I don't recognize. Someone outside the family. How could parents forget one child while celebrating the other so openly? The room tightens. Lucas shifts uncomfortably. This is getting out of control. No, I say softly. This is control. For the first time. I walk to the center of the room, grounding myself. I didn't post this to embarrass you. I posted it so I wouldn't disappear again. Because next year, and the year after that, I refuse to wonder if anyone remembers I exist. My mother's voice cracks. We never meant to make you feel invisible. I meet her gaze. Intent doesn't erase impact. Silence swells again, but this time, it's different. Heavy with consequence. With realization. With fear. Then Lucas stands. Okay. What do you want? The question hangs in the air. What do I want? Not gifts. Not apologies typed in a rush. Not a party thrown out of guilt. I want honesty, I say. I want accountability. And I want something you've never given me. Space to be more than an afterthought. My phone vibrates again. A new message. Private. From someone unexpected. My cousin Emma. I remember your birthdays. I just didn't know how bad it was. I should have said something. That one hurts more than the others. Because it confirms what I always suspected. People noticed. They just didn't intervene. Lucas rubs his temples. Mom, Dad, people are asking if we're still throwing the party this weekend. My mother looks horrified. The party? I smile faintly. Yes, the party. The one for Lucas. The one planned on my birthday week. Again. My father's face hardens. We can cancel it. No. I say immediately. You won't. They all look at me, confused. Canceling it would be easy. I continue. Performative. Safe. I don't want easy. I want change. Lucas frowns. Then what? I inhale slowly. The party will happen, but it won't be what you expect. My mother's eyes narrow. What does that mean? I tap my phone once, locking the screen. It means the spotlight is shifting. It means the story you've told yourselves for years, the one where I quietly exist on the sidelines, ends now. Another buzz. Then another. Then my phone rings. A video call request. From someone whose name makes my pulse jump. Lucas notices. Who's that? I hesitate just long enough to let the suspense breathe. Someone who shouldn't know, but does. My mother's face pales. Isabella, don't. I answer the call. A familiar face fills the screen. A family friend. Influential. Well-connected. Someone who's been to every one of Lucas's parties. Isabella, she says gently. I saw your post. We need to talk. The room freezes. I nod. I agree. I end the call and look back at my family. This is bigger than you think, and it's already in motion. Lucas whispers, you planned this. I meet his eyes. I plan to stop being forgotten. The truth settles over them like a weight they can't shake off. This isn't a tantrum. It isn't a phase. It isn't a moment. It's a reckoning. And the next stage? That's when everything they've built around Lucas, every tradition, every assumption, every celebration gets questioned. I glance at the cake one last time. The candle's still unlit. Tomorrow, I say quietly, you'll all understand exactly why this had to happen. Because the real shift isn't public. It's personal, and it's coming faster than they can stop it. The night drags on, but the atmosphere in the apartment has changed irreversibly. The subtle confidence I'd carried since Lucas walked in has blossomed into something almost electric. My family senses it. They can feel it in the way my words linger, the way my eyes hold theirs. I step closer to the window, letting the city lights wash over me. The phone buzzes again, another notification from my post. Comments keep piling in, but I ignore them for now. This isn't about validation. This is about positioning, about strategy, about letting them feel the first true weight of what decades of neglect have done. My mother hunches in her chair, staring at the floor. I never thought it would reach this, she murmurs. I tilt my head, soft but cutting. Didn't you? Funny how it always seemed fine until I refused to stay quiet. Lucas crosses his arms, trying to appear unbothered. Okay, Isabella, what exactly are you expecting from us? Apologies? A party? Some kind of acknowledgement. I let out a slow breath. And for a moment, I almost pity him. Almost. But pity is fleeting. He's lived his life assuming the world revolves around him. Tonight, that assumption is ending. Expecting? I echo. No. I'm not expecting anything. I'm creating consequences. Every gesture, every oversight, every forgotten birthday, it all leads here. And you're going to witness it unfold firsthand. My father shifts in his chair, his voice tight. Consequences? Isabella, you're scaring us. I meet his gaze squarely. You should be. Fear makes people pay attention. Fear makes people listen. Fear makes people change. Another buzz. My phone lights up again. I glance down. A video message. From Emma, my cousin. She's the first to truly react publicly. Her face fills the screen. I'm sorry, Isabella. I didn't realize. I didn't know it was this bad. I smile faintly. That's the point. I whisper to myself, but loud enough for Lucas to hear. He looks at me, unease creeping into his expression. You've been planning this, he says. I nod. Every year, I've been planning. Every ignored birthday, every forgotten call, every overlooked smile. It all added to tonight. And now, the plan is moving forward. I step closer to the cake, tracing my fingers over the single candle again. This candle is the symbol of every time I was invisible. But I'm not invisible anymore, and neither is the truth. My mother swallows hard. You're not going to embarrass us in front of everyone, are you? I tilt my head, letting the question hang. No. Embarrassment is temporary. Revelation is permanent. And tonight, you're about to experience it. Lucas's lips press into a thin line. You've involved other people? Who knows? I shrug casually, enough to make it impossible to ignore. The whispers have already started. The texts are circulating. The social media posts are visible. The evidence is undeniable. By the time your friends, relatives, and neighbors notice, there will be no escape. The realization hits them like a cold wave. My mother's eyes widen. My father leans back, tense. Lucas's confidence falters. For the first time in years, the family hierarchy is disrupted. Isabella, my mother begins, but I cut her off with a soft shake of my head. Tonight isn't about punishment. It's about acknowledgement, about finally forcing the world, and you, to see me for once. Not the little sister, not the forgotten birthday girl, not the afterthought. Me. I can feel the tension radiating off them. Every word I say, every pause I take is measured, deliberate, precise. I am no longer reacting. I am orchestrating. Another buzz from my phone. This one is different. A private message from someone I didn't expect. A family friend I know has influence, someone who's been present at every Lucas-centric event. They've seen the post. They know the context. And they're on my side now. I glance at my family, letting the moment sink in. The silence stretches between us, thick with anticipation and dread. They sense that the next step, whatever it is, will change everything. I lean in slightly, softening my voice, making it intimate, cutting through the tension. Do you feel it? That uneasy pit in your stomach? That curiosity? That fear of the unknown? That's just the beginning. That's a taste of what I've carried for 29 years. And tonight, you're getting the full course. Lucas flinches, but I don't relent. I let my gaze roam over them. I let them feel the weight of my words, my presence, my power. Another buzz, another comment, another whisper spreading across the digital world. And in the corner of the room, I see it. My mother's resolve cracking, Lucas's arrogance faltering, my father's composure slipping. This is what I've waited for. The first real cracks in their carefully constructed world. The first acknowledgement that I exist, that I matter. I take a deep breath, the kind that steadies the nerves and sharpens the mind. Tonight is far from over. Tomorrow, the ripple will grow. But right now, this is the moment I've been waiting for, the moment they understand, even if only subconsciously, that their little birthday tradition isn't just a routine anymore. And that, finally, for the first time in my life, they're on my terms. The candle on the cake flickers faintly as I lean in and whisper to no one in particular, but loud enough for them to hear.
Wait.
You haven't seen anything yet. The night stretches on, heavy with anticipation, but I know the real game begins tomorrow.
The party.
Lucas's party. The one they've spent months planning. The one that has always overshadowed my birthdays. The one where I've always been invisible. Tomorrow the tables turn. I sit on the edge of the sofa, the single candle still unlit on the cake. My phone buzzes constantly, notifications piling up like waves crashing against a cliff. Every like, every comment, every direct message feeds my plan. Some messages are sympathetic. Some are incredulous. Some even suspicious. But they all serve the same purpose. They build the pressure. They amplify the anticipation. Lucas paces the room. His usual bravado is gone, replaced with an almost palpable tension. Mom, Dad, she's serious. This is bigger than anything I could have imagined. My mother bites her lip, glancing at me. I just don't know how to handle this. People are watching, Isabella. Everyone is watching. I smile, not cruelly but assuredly. That's the point. For years, you've all overlooked me. Not just me, but my birthdays, my achievements, my presence. And now, for the first time, you're feeling the attention you've forced me to fight for. Lucas stops pacing and looks directly at me. What are you going to do at the party? You can't just. I raise a finger, cutting him off. Watch and learn, little brother. That's all you can do. For once, this party isn't about you. For once, it's about me. I can see the uncertainty in their eyes. They've never seen me like this, calm, deliberate in control. The quiet sister who they assumed would always be the background has become the storm. I glance at my phone again. A new message. Another family friend, someone who's been invited to the party and knows nothing about my plan but has already seen the post. They're curious. They're talking. And that curiosity is contagious. The excitement builds. It's like a slow-burning fire, one that I've been fanning for months, and now the kindling is ready. I stand and move to the window, looking out over the city. The lights are beautiful tonight, but more than that, they remind me of all the nights I've spent overlooked while Lucas's accomplishments, his parties, his life, were celebrated in the spotlight. Tomorrow, that spotlight will shift. I turn back to my family. My mother is silent, her face pale, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and disbelief. My father's hands are clenched, knuckles white. Lucas is fidgeting, trying to maintain his usual arrogance but failing. The room feels smaller, heavier, charged with electricity. Every word I say, every movement I make, carries weight. I let it linger, letting them feel the tension, the uncertainty, the dread. Do you realize, I say softly, that for 29 years, I've watched you celebrate Lucas while I sat in silence? That every birthday, every party, every gesture was a reminder that I didn't matter? My mother's throat tightens. Isabella, we didn't mean. I shake my head. Intent doesn't erase impact. You may not have meant to hurt me, but you did. Every single year. And now, the consequences are here. Lucas swallows hard. Consequences? Isabella, this isn't a game. I step closer to him, my voice calm but firm. For me, it's not a game. It's justice. For once, you get to watch someone take control, someone demand recognition. And yes, it comes with consequences. You can feel them now, or you can feel them tomorrow at the party. Either way, you'll remember this night. My father shifts in his chair, his voice strained. You're escalating this, you don't need to humiliate us. I hold up a hand, stopping him. Humiliation isn't the goal. Awareness is. Visibility.
Truth.
For 29 years, I've been invisible. Tomorrow you'll all see me, and that truth will linger. The candle flickers faintly, its small flame mirroring the tension in the room. I know the first stage of my revenge is complete, the public exposure, the acknowledgement, the suspense. But the climax is still ahead. The party will be the stage, and everyone there will witness the culmination of years of being overlooked. I glance at Lucas one last time tonight. His arrogance is gone, his confidence shaken. The realization that this night isn't just another party has sunk in. He doesn't know what to expect. And that uncertainty, that's exactly what I wanted. I take a deep breath, letting the adrenaline settle. The city outside is quiet, oblivious to the storm I'm orchestrating inside. But tomorrow, nothing will be quiet. Nothing will be ignored. The candle on the cake remains unlit, a silent reminder that my birthday, for years, has been overlooked. But tomorrow, everything changes. Tomorrow, they will all see me. And when they do, the world will not forget. The day of the party arrives like a storm on the horizon. The city hums with its usual rhythm, unaware that inside one apartment, a reckoning is about to unfold. I sit in front of my mirror, adjusting my outfit.
Calm.
Controlled. Ready. This isn't just a birthday party. It's the stage for 29 years of being ignored, and I am finally center stage. The invitation had gone out long ago, meant for Lucas's friends, colleagues, and family. But I'd carefully crafted my presence to make sure it wasn't just a quiet shadow. The photos I posted, the texts I sent, the subtle hints, all of it had built a sense of curiosity that was about to explode. And they had no idea what was coming. I glance at the cake once more.
Small.
Simple. Single candle unlit. It's symbolic. 29 years of being invisible, but it doesn't matter tonight. Tonight, I won't need a candle to make my presence felt.
The doorbell chimes.
My pulse quickens. Lucas opens the door, already hosting his usual crowd. His friends chat casually, oblivious to the tension humming under the surface. The room smells of expensive food, decorations, and perfume, but I notice something else. Under the chatter, unease. It's subtle at first, a flicker in a guest's eyes when they glance at me. Curiosity. Suspicion. I walk in.
Calm.
Confident. Every step deliberate. Every eye subtly drawn. I don't announce myself. I don't need to. Presence alone speaks. The room tilts, subtly but noticeably, toward me. Lucas notices. His smile falters for the first time tonight. Isabella, he says, trying to sound casual. But the tension in his voice betrays him. You're here early. I thought I'd help set the tone. I say, voice soft but commanding. After all, it's my presence that everyone seems so curious about. Whispers begin to ripple through the crowd. A few guests glance at each other, trying to piece together why the usually quiet sister is suddenly front and center. Others pull out phones discreetly, seeing the posts and the timeline I've shared online. The curiosity spreads like wildfire. I approach my mother, standing near the refreshments, looking tense. Mom, I say quietly. She flinches at the sound of my voice. Do you remember all the birthdays you forgot? Every single one? She swallows hard. Isabella, we didn't. Intent doesn't erase impact. I cut in. And tonight, everyone here will see it. All of it. They'll understand exactly why I'm here. Why I've waited. Why I've been invisible for so long. I see my father stiffen, noticing the way the guests are beginning to pay attention. Lucas shifts uncomfortably, realizing the night he expected to dominate is already tilting against him. I take a slow breath and walk toward the center of the room, all eyes now on me. I hold up my phone, turning it toward the crowd. The photos, the timeline, the screenshots. Each guest leans in, whispers circulating. The evidence of 29 years of being overlooked is undeniable. A hush falls over the room. Lucas tries to intervene. Isabella, wait. No, I say firmly. You wait. Everyone has waited long enough. And now it's your turn. The room is electric. Curiosity, shock, subtle admiration, and a faint sense of guilt ripple through the crowd. People start asking questions, murmuring among themselves. Some glance at Lucas, then at my parents, then back at me. The power shift is complete. I glance at my mother again. You thought you could erase me, ignore me, leave me in the shadows while Lucas celebrated. But tonight you see me, and everyone else does too. Lucas looks around nervously. Mom, Dad, she's. I hold up a hand. Silence. I've documented every forgotten birthday, every overlooked celebration, every quiet heartbreak. And tonight, it's public. Witnessed. Recognized. Unavoidable. Guests murmur softly, some nodding, some whispering apologies. The social shift is undeniable. Suddenly, Lucas isn't the center of attention. The party, which was always about him, is about me now. And the satisfaction? Delicious, precise, intoxicating. I take a slow step forward, scanning the room. For 29 years, I was invisible. Tonight, I am visible. And from now on, birthdays are not about favoritism. They're about acknowledgement, about presence, about respect. My mother's lips tremble. Isabella, we're sorry. I shake my head softly. Sorry isn't enough. Recognition is. And finally, you and everyone here see me. Truly see me. Lucas slumps back, defeated, as guests begin clapping, not for him, but for me. Their applause, hesitant at first, grows louder. The shift is complete. The quiet sister, overlooked for decades, has become the unforgettable focal point of the room. And as I stand there, watching the subtle but undeniable reckoning unfold, I realize this is only the beginning. The birthday cake, the candle, the years of neglect, they were just the opening act. Tonight, they remember me. And tomorrow, the consequences of being invisible for 29 years will continue to ripple through every corner of my family's world. The party begins to settle into an uneasy rhythm. Lucas is quiet now, his usual smirk replaced with something more cautious. My parents hover in the background, caught between pride, guilt, and the weight of public scrutiny. And me? I move through the room with deliberate ease, savoring the small but undeniable shift in attention. For 29 years, I had been the invisible one. Tonight, the whispers, the glances, the careful observation of my every move, all of it reminds me that I finally have control, that I am no longer a background character in someone else's story. I glance around. Guests are discreetly taking photos of me, asking questions, and most importantly, realizing the truth I've been holding in silence for decades. Every comment, every reaction, every whispered apology confirms that my plan is working exactly as I intended. Lucas approaches, trying to regain some semblance of authority. Okay, Isabella, you've made your point. But this is still my party. I meet his gaze steadily, letting him feel the weight of my presence. No, Lucas. This was never your party. It was mine, too. Every year that you were celebrated while I was forgotten. Tonight, it is finally mine, in every sense that matters. He swallows hard, clearly struggling to comprehend the shift. You're serious. I nod. Absolutely serious. I don't want apologies. I want acknowledgement. I want recognition. I want you all to remember that I exist, and that ignoring me isn't acceptable anymore. My mother steps forward hesitantly, her voice soft. Isabella, you've always been strong, determined. We just didn't know how much it hurt you. We thought we were doing fine. I tilt my head, holding her gaze. Intentions don't erase impact. You can't erase 29 years of being invisible by saying, we didn't know. Recognition doesn't come from words alone. It comes from actions. And actions are what you will see from now on. She blinks rapidly, clearly absorbing the weight of my words. My father nods, his face pale and tense. Even he, the quiet enforcer of family order, seems to grasp the scale of what I've orchestrated. I move back toward the center of the room, letting my gaze sweep across all the guests. For years, birthdays were about Lucas. Every party, every gift, every gesture reinforced the idea that I didn't matter. Tonight, the focus is on truth, not favoritism. And the truth is this. I have been here all along. I have lived. I have succeeded. I have felt pain. And I have endured neglect. And now you see me. The room is silent, heavy with realization. I feel the power in that silence, the kind that comes from being ignored for too long and finally stepping into the light. Lucas breaks it first. You really documented all this? His voice is quieter now, almost awed. I smile faintly. Every year, every forgotten birthday, every overlooked moment, All of it. And now the evidence is here. Public, undeniable, and impossible to dismiss. The whispers start again, this time more deliberate, more contemplative. Guests murmur their surprise, their admiration, even their unease. My mother's hands tremble, and I can see the wheels turning in her head. My father's jaw tightens as he contemplates the consequences of being on the wrong side of my long-held silence. I lean toward Lucas, softly but firmly. Do you understand now why it mattered? Why I needed this night? His shoulders slump. Yes, I never realized. I let him struggle with the words. Let him sit with the discomfort he's rarely felt before.
Exactly.
And that discomfort, that realization is part of the lesson. Because every year I felt that way, unseen, overlooked, insignificant. Tonight, you understand, even if only a little, what it feels like. The candle on the cake catches my eye. I step closer, finally lighting it. The small flame flickers, casting a warm glow across the room. But it's not just about a birthday anymore. It's about recognition, power, and the validation that comes from being seen for who you are after years of neglect. Guests murmur quietly, some leaning in, some taking photos, all witnessing the transformation. My parents stare, humbled, unable to speak. Lucas finally steps aside, silent, as the attention slowly shifts fully toward me. And in that moment, I realize something powerful. This isn't just revenge. This is reclamation. 29 years of silence, invisibility, and pain have led me to this moment. And now, finally, I am heard. I am seen. I am acknowledged. I take a deep breath, letting the emotions settle. The power is mine. The acknowledgement is complete. And yet, there's one final step. One final gesture that will ensure this isn't just a fleeting moment of recognition, but a permanent shift in the way my family and everyone else sees me. Tomorrow, the ripple of this night will continue. But tonight, the victory is mine. And for the first time in my life, I am unshakable. The party has reached its peak, and I feel the energy in the room shift completely. Lucas is quiet now, a shadow of his usual confident self. My parents hover uncomfortably, caught between guilt and awe, unable to reconcile the child they thought they raised with the woman who now commands the room. And me? I move like I belong here, not just as a guest, but as the undeniable center of attention, the architect of every revelation tonight. I step closer to the cake, candle flickering, a tiny flame that suddenly feels like a spotlight on everything I've endured. My phone buzzes lightly in my pocket. I ignore it. All of the attention I need is here, alive in this room, in the eyes of people who have watched me grow up invisible and now can't turn away.
Lucas tries to speak.
Isabella, I raise a hand, stopping him mid-word.
No.
Let me finish. I glance around the room, letting the silence deepen. Guests are whispering, leaning in, watching, curious, captivated. For 29 years, birthdays were about Lucas. Every celebration, every surprise, every applause was for him, while I sat on the sidelines. Invisible, unseen, uncelebrated. Tonight, that changes. My mother steps forward, tentative. Isabella, we're so sorry. We didn't realize how much. I shake my head slowly. You didn't realize. That's the problem. You never realized. And that's why I had to make this public. That's why you had to see the impact, to feel it, not just in words, but in attention, in perception, in action. Lucas fidgets, unsure, guilt flashing across his face for the first time in decades. I never thought it was that serious. I let him sit with the discomfort, the weight of my words pressing down on him.
Exactly.
You never thought. And that's how it felt every year for me. Every overlooked gift, every forgotten birthday, every excuse that my celebration could wait while yours was prioritized. It all built to this. And now you understand. Guests are leaning in, some nodding, others whispering. A few openly take pictures of me, documenting the moment like I've finally become the focal point in the way I've deserved to be for years. The ripple is spreading beyond Lucas, beyond my parents. It's reaching the entire room. I light the candle fully now, letting the glow cast across my face.
Warm.
Triumphant. Unyielding. This flame isn't just a candle. It's my voice. It's the acknowledgement I've waited decades for. And now it's here. And from now on, I will never be overlooked again. I glance at my mother. Her hands tremble, and I can see the guilt in her eyes. I don't soften. I don't excuse. I let her feel the full weight of what's unfolded. This isn't punishment. It's recognition. And yes, it might be uncomfortable, but so is being invisible. Lucas is quiet, his friends whispering among themselves, and even my father's stoic composure is cracking. The reality of 29 years of neglect, documented and displayed, cannot be ignored. Then I take a step forward and address the room, letting my voice carry. I'm Isabella Harper. I'm 29 years old. I've lived, I've succeeded, I've endured, and tonight, I reclaim my place, not as the forgotten sister, but as someone who will no longer be erased. A hush falls. The silence is thick, heavy, and powerful. And then slowly, applause begins. Hesitant at first, careful, but growing, louder, stronger. Recognition, validation,
Respect.
it's everything I've wanted, distilled into this moment. I smile, letting the energy wash over me. This isn't just revenge. It's reclamation. It's transformation. For decades, I've been invisible. Tonight, I am unforgettable. And then, quietly, I blow out the candle. The flame extinguishes, but the glow remains in the room, in their eyes, in my presence. A symbolic gesture. The end of neglect, the start of acknowledgement. Lucas finally approaches, his voice soft. Isabella,
I
understand now.
I'm sorry.
Really? I nod, letting the words sink in. Forgiveness is optional. Understanding is mandatory. Thank you, I say simply. My mother and father step forward as well, hesitant, but their eyes finally meeting mine. No excuses. No rationalizations. Just acknowledgement. And for the first time in years, I feel like I'm finally seen. As the party continues around me, I realize this night is bigger than me. It's a reminder to anyone who has ever been invisible that reclaiming your voice, your presence, your identity is possible. And sometimes, it takes a carefully orchestrated reckoning to make the world notice. I step back, letting the room celebrate me for once. The candle may be out, but the recognition burns brighter than ever. My revenge is complete, not with cruelty, but with clarity, strategy, and undeniable truth. And as I glance at my phone one last time, I know this story. The story of years of neglect, of forgotten birthdays, of quiet determination, will resonate far beyond this room. Hold on. Before we wrap this up, I want to know, what's your reaction right now as you hear Isabella's story? Type it down in the comments. I love seeing your answers. If you've followed her journey, you know, being forgotten isn't the end. Reclaiming your narrative is. And Isabella did just that. Before the screen fades, I want to leave you with one last reminder. Never let anyone erase your presence. Stand tall.
Be seen.
And if necessary, make sure the world acknowledges you. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to see it, and subscribe to the channel Silent Revenge Lab for more real-life stories of resilience, strategy, and unforgettable payback. Because sometimes, revenge isn't about anger. It's about being remembered.